Welcome everybody to Rest Day Rants with Affinity, where we talk about everything from corrective exercise to elite athletic performance, blending training advice, nutrition guidance, and real-life conversations. Today, we are going to be talking about
nutrition, but with Stacie. Today, we have a guest. Welcome, Stacie. Stacie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Stacie Ellis. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I have my own private practice in the DFW area, and I also do contract work with different companies. I work at UTA as a contract, and I do consulting and speaking engagements, providing nutrition education for individuals. And my specialty areas are weight management, sports nutrition, and eating disorders.
Heck yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. And then tell us a little bit, you're a dancer.
Yes, I do ballet. I've been dancing, like 25 years now. I don't know. I lost track of how long. And I dance recreationally at Contemporary Ballet Dallas. And I enjoy it. It's a stress reliever for me. So, yeah.
How long have you, my brain. I was going to ask her.
Like, how long has she, been in the field or?
A dietitian?
Yes. How long have you been a dietitian? Yes, thank you.
I've been a dietitian for, I'm going on 11 years now. So
Years. That's
for
awesome.
a while, yeah.
Yes. And then tell us a little bit about some of the research that you've done.
Oh, yes. I am a dancer. So I've done dance research where I will say within the sports nutrition field, there's a lot of research on other athletes like football players, basketball players, but dancers, there's not that much research. So I've done 2 studies looking at diet for dancers. My latest study compared a high-carb, low-fat diet to a low-carb, high-fat diet on performance on dancers. And really, there was no difference between the 2 diets. That was the result of the study. There was no difference. Just eating enough calories made a difference. And then I did another study where I use the athlete's plate on dancers and seeing, the impact, how dancers feel. And that one was a little bit more tricky. I didn't have performance measures for that one. It was more about educating the dancers and compliance with the diet and how well educating the dancers, how well they would actually implement it. And so there were improvements from before and after in terms of implementing the diet with that. And then I worked with a firefighter study with my advisor at the time when I was at Texas Women's. And we did physical performance tests on the firefighters where they had to run on a treadmill, do push-ups, plank, all types of things. And we had a DEXA scan to see their body comp. They had a hearing test, vision test, a bunch of random stuff concerning health. So, those were the main studies I was involved with when I was in college.
Yeah. Awesome. And can you tell us the difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist?
Yes. A dietitian is a nutritionist, but a nutritionist is not necessarily a dietitian. So nutritionists, you don't necessarily need a degree. You can be any random person and just say that you're a nutritionist. But with a dietitian, it's kind of like becoming a nurse. With a dietitian, you have to go and get a degree, you have an internship, you have a test you have to take, and now they're making it required for you to have a master's degree as well. And so definitely a lot more education. Now, there are nutrition certifications that are out there. The clinical nutrition specialist is actually quite similar to a dietitian. So if there's a medical doctor or a PT that wants to have a nutrition certification, they also have to do an internship and they have to take a test. but I'm not too familiar with like how similar they are. But with dietitians, we focus on medical nutrition therapy as opposed to just telling people to eat vegetables and protein, which we do that too. But, you know, some people, they have malnourishment. They might have some type of medical condition that requires them to eat differently. And so dietitians are able to help them with those types of things.
Awesome.
All
Yeah. Exciting.
Pretty cool.
So we kind of want to lead into, so we are trainers, personal trainers, and we are allowed to give recommendations. We don't give meal guides, like when it comes to like eat this and then you're going to eat that. So as trainers, we are allowed to give recommendations, but we're not allowed to give detailed meal guides. Have you ever had clients come in that have just been completely messed up from that kind of advice?
All the time. All the time. I feel like I spend most of my time re-educating individuals. I've had clients that literally they went to even a doctor, a medical doctor, and they would put them on a diet where they're restricting their calories to the point where they have like an eating disorder at this point, you know. So I have had my share of needing to re-educate individuals. Food fears has become a big thing. I think as of late, a lot of people are demonizing carbs.
Yes.
A lot. And so re-educating individuals on the importance of carbohydrates. Yes, you have to watch some of the carbs. You have to watch how much of the carbs you eat. If you're not active and all that, yeah, that can make an impact. But yeah, I mean, and if it's not someone telling them some type of nutrition advice, there's social media, there's, you know, magazines and books that people will read that has bad information that I have to spend time actually re-educating. And sometimes people are not like, it takes them a minute, because if you hear it over and over again, if you hear several people say it over and over again, just me saying it to them doesn't necessarily convince them. Yeah. And then especially, so there's this thing that I call the pretty person syndrome. If someone looks good, like if they are ripped and they're cut, if they say something nutrition wise, people believe it. Yeah, and they're like, oh, if I do what they say, I'm going to look like that.
Yeah.
Not understanding that, like,
they're selling snake oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we even get that as coaches too. Like we'll get people who come in, they're like, well, this person said this, and I mean, they're fit, so it must be right. It's like,
yeah.
Genetics also plays a role.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the carbs, we get a lot of people, especially women who undereat and are so scared of carbs. They're like, if I have a bowl of pasta, the world is going to end.
Okay, so as a dietitian, I'm sure that you've heard some pretty crazy things from clients about what protein, carbs, fats, what they all do to the body potentially. So what are some common things that you hear about them that are just completely wrong, that people, you know, they fear carbs? Like why? Like what are their reasons?
Yeah, so a lot of people will feel that they gain weight when they eat carbs. And there's some level of truth to that, because carbs, they're called carbohydrates. So every gram of carb has 6 grams of water. So yes, if you were on a diet where you weren't eating that many carbs, and then all of a sudden you add carbs in, you will see the scale go up, but it's water weight, right? So a lot of people, they need to understand the difference with that. Now, when you look at a person, it's sometimes hard to tell water weight versus fat mass when you just look at them. Like if you ever notice anyone that has like edema, puffiness, it's sometimes hard to tell just looking at them, unless you are trained and you know how to, like, you know.
That's what you're struggling with.
Yeah, and you know what to look for that. But the average person, when they're looking at themselves in the mirror or somebody's looking at them, they can't tell the difference, right? But you need water, right? Like water is important. Obviously, some people, they have to watch how much water they have because of different medical conditions. So in those cases, of course, they might have to watch their carb intake. So what I tell my clients you want to try to eat a certain level of carbohydrates consistently, and then you'll know how much water you're going to have on you on a regular basis. If you're going to do low carb and then high carb, when you step on the scale, it's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's going to make you feel as though you're not progressing the way you need to, right? But carbs are great, and they go into the muscle. And so if you are weight training and you got a good pump, I mean, it makes the muscles look good.
Nice and juicy.
Yeah. So that's another thing. But, of course, when you step on the scale, especially with women, I know a lot of women, when they step on the scale, they weight train, they step on the scale, like, the scale's going up. This diet's not working. I'm gaining weight, not understanding that it's water that is, contributing to their weight gain.
And this is mostly intramuscular water, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Fats. So there's this theory about the keto diet that if you have a high fat diet and you're not eating carbs, that insulin is low, and that means you're going to burn fat.
We despise the keto diet.
And she did almost every episode. Like, don't do it.
Yeah. So it's not that simple. You will always have a level of insulin in your blood. A lot of people think that carbs are the only things that cause insulin to go up. When you eat protein, insulin goes up. It's a very important hormone in the body. And so to think that just doing a high fat diet, which most people who do keto, they're not doing keto, they're doing a low carb diet.
Yeah.
Like a true keto
different.
You're drinking oil and heavy cream and hardly any carbs. Like, you have to count how many green beans you eat. You have cornstarch as your carb. Like, it's literally nothing like what people think they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's a misconception. It's all about how many calories total that you consume in terms of weight loss. If you're coming from having a diet that has carbohydrates and then you go to the low carb,
You're gonna drop so much weight, but it's not going to last.
It's water weight because you're losing the carbohydrates. So you're losing every gram of carb you lose. You're losing 6 grams of water. So, of course, when you step on a scale, it's going to go down 10, 15 pounds in a week or two. So I would say as of lay, that's the most common, the keto, and
that's what we see too. People, they don't want to eat their carbs. And we're like, well, how are you going to fuel yourself? That's why you're tired. Especially with women, they're like, oh, I don't have a lot of muscle mass. And sometimes they might have a moderate amount of muscle mass, but like they've starved themselves of carbs for so long that their muscles are like
super flat.
There's no pop to them. And then they start eating carbs and they're like, where'd all this muscle come from? We're like, you've already had it. We're just building more. So now that we've kind of talked a little bit about, the common myths you hear, let's break down like proteins, carbs, and fats, our main macronutrients. So just a little brief description on how you as a dietitian would explain them to someone. However you want to say that.
Okay, so yes, you're right. There's 3 macronutrients: carbs, proteins, and fats. Carbs and proteins have the same amount of energy per gram, so 4 calories per gram of carb or gram of protein. And then fats have 9 calories per gram. So when you consume fats, the volume that you get, you're going to end up having way more calories in fat compared to carbs and proteins, which is okay. But it's something that you have to keep in mind, like when you're eating. So going back to like the keto diet, if you're eating a high fat diet, if you're having a huge volume of fat, you can easily overeat on calories. It happens quite commonly. That's, some people, they are still in a calorie deficit, so they lose weight. But there's some people that they're like, I've been on a keto diet. I lost some weight initially, which was the water weight, but then they stop losing weight because they're still eating at maintenance. Because, and fat, and this is a misconception about fat. People say fat is satiating. It is the least satiating out of all the macronutrients. Protein is the most satiating, then carbs is second, and then last is fat. Now, in terms of the differences of these three, so if we're talking about performance-wise, carbs gives you a lot of energy. And so, going back to what we were talking about earlier, a lot of people are not eating a lot of carbohydrates, and they'll complain about, oh, I'm just so stressed. I work all day, and I come home, and I just don't want to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did you eat during the day? I had eggs in the morning, and then I had a salad for lunch with some chicken breasts. No carbs anywhere.
Nothing. Maybe like 5 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's why you're tired. You have no energy.
Literally. Nothing to feed your brain, nothing to
Yes.
feed your muscles.
So that's like the main source of energy that our body runs off of. And so if you're not getting in enough of that, it's going to affect your mood. So serotonin requires carbohydrates in order to produce enough. And then obviously, you talked about your brain, your red blood cells, all needs carbs. Your liver, so your liver's used to regulate your blood sugar. You run out of the glucose within about 2 to 3 hours. And so if you're not eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner with carbohydrates, your blood sugar can drop.
And that's where people mostly get like that afternoon crash because they didn't eat and they're waiting for dinner and it's so long in between.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So carbs are important. Fats, so we have on the other side, so I don't know how familiar you are with the, it's this community, I forgot the name of it, but it's pretty much, they try to do a very, very low fat diet. They're very like anti-fat. It's within the plant-based community. I want to say it's 80-10 or something like that. 80-10-10.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
80-10-10. So 10% of their diet coming from fat. That's too low.
That's really low.
That is really low.
And
so
for
low.
hormone production, like
For women, you're not getting, and even for men, you're just
exactly.
so low.
Exactly. So you do need some fats for hormones. Literally every single cell on your body requires fat. There's cholesterol in the cell membrane, the phospholipid bilayer, that is fats, right? So fat is very important. And then I'm sure everyone knows protein's important. It's very popular right now.
So popular. It's
Yes.
in everything.
Yes.
We go through the macronutrients one by one of popularity. So we had the carbs, and then we have fat, and now we're at protein.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Everything's about money.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It'll cycle back around again.
So a little bit more on carbs. Isn't carbs protein sparing? So
Yes.
yes.
So if you're not consuming, so again, a lot of people will do a lot of protein. They're like, okay, I need to eat, I don't know, 150 grams of protein a day. So they eat
Or
steak.
200 grams. They're like, I need 200 grams to
Yeah.
build muscle.
And they eat all this meat and protein powder and all that without any carbs.
Mhm.
And the carbohydrates actually aids in you shuttling the protein in and not wasting the amino acids that you were consuming. So again, another reason why you shouldn't do a low carb diet if you're trying to build muscle. I mean, I know that there's some social media guys out there that look muscular, again, going back to looking pretty and you believe what they say. But that doesn't mean that's the most ideal way.
Yeah. You also don't know what's in their stack at
Oh, yeah.
home, in their cabinet with needles
Yeah.
and other things.
Yep. Some
They
people
got
get a
from the
lot
doctor.
of extra help.
Yeah. They
So.
get it from the doctor.
The doctor. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So is there a big difference to you between just a lifestyle client who's looking to recomposition, just lose fat, put on some muscle, versus, say, an athlete who needs to have a lot of muscle mass on their body? Like, how would you...
It
Structure that.
depends. Some of them are similar.
Mhm.
So depending on the athlete, some athletes, they do need a lot of muscle. You know, if you're talking about football players, a lot of guys, they want a lot of muscle. Girls,
Yeah.
no matter what the sport, girls, they they'll say they want muscle, but then they come to a point where they're like, that's too much muscle.
Yeah, they're scared of being jacked.
Yeah.
Muscle mommy, I know.
Yeah.
All I
So-
want is to be jacked.
For females, it's very similar,
Yeah.
whether it's lifestyle versus an athlete. For guys, that's when it gets a little bit more kind of tricky. I will say that most of my clients are not eating enough protein. So whether they're an athlete or lifestyle, I'm working on them to eat more protein regardless.
Yeah.
So it ends up being the same in that regard, increasing their protein needs. I will say the athlete tends to be more motivated. So they will progress faster because they're like, well, I want to do well in my sport. So even if they're uncomfortable with eating a certain amount of protein, they can push themselves to do so. Where I find with the lifestyle, it's not as much because they don't have that motivation, that drive to like get them to do it as much. But even eating the protein, I tell them, like, if you're trying to put on muscle, I don't care how much protein you put on. If you're not in the gym hitting them weights, it's not gonna matter. You're just gonna
Yeah, you're just
pee it
gonna,
all out.
Yeah, literally, you're just gonna get rid of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you find that between athletes and lifestyle clients that you have like different fears and why they're not hitting their goals? So like I feel like for our lifestyle clients, when we're trying to just get them to eat more so that they can fuel themselves and see some change, that it's the fear of the scale moving and then fear of being like uncomfortable, like, well, I have to eat like more and I'm not used to it, so I'm a little bit uncomfortable when I'm eating. And then like for like athletes, it's more of like a time thing, or like there's just like, I don't know how to, like they just don't know how to get that much in, or
I agree. It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the athletes that have a very busy schedule, you know, like I have some high school athletes that I'll work with, some college athletes. They're busy. They have practice in the morning, they have classes, and they have practice in the afternoon, and they have games. It's very hard for them to have time to eat, and like their time between, like for some of them, the time between practice and then going to another physical activity is very short. They have a hard time getting in the food. But that doesn't mean they can't get it in.
Yeah.
It's just you have to be strategic with how you do it. And when you eat.
yeah.
For lifestyle clients, some of them still have some issues with time. And that's in part, you know, I get onto my clients all the time because, you know, you have control over your schedule more than you think you do. A lot of times people like to blame their boss. Well, I have to work this amount of hours. I have to do this. This is required or I'm going to get fired. I've worked with plenty of clients. When you start setting boundaries,
Yep.
it's fine. Like
The road
you should have a
clears
lunch.
up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You should.
That's like in the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people who feel that they have so much work that they will skip lunch. That's very common, unfortunately, or they'll just snack during the day.
We have a lot of clients that snack at their desk, and we're like, okay, if you're going to do that, then you should meal prep on the weekends.
Yes, absolutely. So it's still, that part is kind of similar, you know, not having time for meals. But I think on that side, so for the athlete, it's because they're trying to get better, right? And they're having practice and stuff. And I will say even for them, there's such thing as too much practice to where you're actually not benefiting.
Progressing, yeah.
But when it comes to the lifestyle, that's like self-imposed stress that you're putting on yourself. And a lot of people don't want to make those hard decisions of setting boundaries and saying no to things and taking things off of their plate. But that's really what is needed for some people to improve on their health.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Completely agree.
Yeah.
So on those clients, when you're trying to get them, one, to set boundaries, what are some other like advice? Do you prefer clients, because we prefer, like, I mean, I'm sure you're very similar, you don't want them to just have like the protein snacks that we were talking about. Do you prefer them to meal prep, or do you prefer them to go day by day, or just individualized?
It's individual. Yeah. Some people, they have time where they can cook, like, you know, if they work from home, sometimes people will cook their lunch and things like that. A lot of people will meal prep. And meal prepping can look different types of ways. Like Some people will meal prep, and put it in a container, have everything in one container, while other people might meal prep just like, okay, let me prep a bunch of chicken or turkey or beef or whatever and just have the meat ready. And same with vegetables, just prepping the veggies in advance, and then they can mix and match, throughout the week, however they like. So it's very individualized. I actually have some clients too where they don't even have time to meal prep, and I'm like, okay, use a meal prep service.
Yeah.
Like, it's not ideal, but at least it's better than going to McDonald's.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, or the popular one, Chick-fil-A, which we
yeah.
love. We love a little Chick-fil-A.
We do.
Just a little bit, not every day.
No, not every day. It's just because it's just chicken, or just because it's the Lord's chicken, doesn't mean it's healthier than anything else.
Lord's chicken.
Lord's chicken. Tastes heavenly. So when it comes to meal prepping, so I think the hardest thing, and it's something Brinley and I have actually talked about, is like a meal prep series where we show people, like, we go to the grocery store, this is how we like made our list, this is like what we're getting, this is how we make our meals, and like, so walking people through the process, because I think people really struggle with, like, when they've never done that in their whole life, and then they're like, even though they've cooked meals their whole life, they know how to cook meals, but then when they have to think about, oh, I have to do it days ahead, and then it has to be in storage, doing that all at once freaks them out.
Yeah.
So what's something like the first piece of advice you would give to somebody that is struggling with, like, where do I even start?
Start with the basics: protein, starch, veggie. Every meal, protein, starch, veggie. And then knowing that you need a protein, starch, and a veggie, you can pick and choose what that can be. So your protein could be any type of protein. We just talked about chicken, turkey, steak, right? Fish, starch, maybe that's potatoes, rice, a tortilla, and then veggies. Maybe it's steamed veggies, that you throw in the microwave. Maybe it's a salad. I always try to start very basic. Once you have the basics, then you can explore fun recipes and try to make elaborate dishes. But I think just starting with the basics helps people to realize it's not as hard as they may think it is. Yeah.
Do you think it's easier for clients to make bunches and then separate it out as they go throughout the week, or do you think it's easier for them to make a whole bunch and then already separate it out? Because I think the second option is easier. Does that make sense?
No. It sounds like
so
you said the same thing twice.
Are you talking about doing the whole, like, you have all your protein in one, all your potatoes in one, all of your veggies in one, and then as you go, you'll put it into a container?
Yeah.
And then versus meal per meal?
Yeah, meal per meal, where they just grab the meal and go.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like. Does that make sense?
Which one do you like?
I like where they have it, they cook it all, and they separate 7 days out, so it's all separated, and they can just grab it and go. And some people like to, each day, they'll separate a little bit, and I think they're a little...
That's what I do.
Is that what you
That's
do?
what
You're
I
crazy.
do too.
No,
I'm
I
alone.
think it's easier
Yeah.
because what I do, I make sure I always have some proteins made. So like right now I have turkey and I have steak made. If I run out, then one day when I'm cooking dinner, I just make another protein.
Yeah.
The same with veggies. I'll have my veggie container. When I run out, when I cook dinner, I make another veggie.
Yeah.
Same with the starches.
Yeah.
And as opposed to like when I tried to do for the full week, like you're spending at least 2 hours, I felt like, cooking. That was very stressful for me. I didn't have that type of time. So just knowing that, okay, I'm already throwing something in the oven. Let me throw extra in the oven. To me, save more time.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I do too.
Okay.
I'm
Maybe
also,
I'm doing it wrong over here.
I like that better. No, I mean, if that's better for you, especially, I think most of it's psychological on that end. Like, I think it's more like what stresses you out least.
Yeah, my food touching, even though it's the same food.
Yeah. See, I can't eat the same exact meal for 7 days straight.
Yeah.
I have to kind of mix it up a little bit, if that means different protein, different side, whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and if you have the different things, you can make a burrito bowl one day. You can make a salad one day. That's what I like. 'Cause I can mix it up.
You can have some more variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get like some people needing it
Just
done.
grab it out of the fridge and
I
go.
get
Yeah.
that.
Because maybe, with your schedule, you have one day that you have the whole day to do something. The
Yeah.
rest of your days are
So
that could definitely be part of it.
Yeah, you might be right. It might be just what I've done to cope.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I see the variety. I like that idea because I'm like, variety, and then I'll just eat the same thing again.
see,
Yeah.
and my thing with that too is if I make something for 7 days and I don't like it from day one, I'm like, dang, now I gotta eat this for 7 days and I don't like it.
I just grab another seasoning. I'm like, it's different now.
It's like putting a Band-Aid over it.
Like if I have a sweet potato and it's not like sweet, or I want it to be like not, I don't know, savory, like with butter or something, I'll just be like, different topping. It's all a different meal. It's so good. Butter or cinnamon, it's a different thing.
Since you did a firefighter study, correct? So, okay. Are there any differences that you have found in terms of diet with the tactical population versus people with desk jobs or just regular everyday jobs?
So again, it depends if they are at a desk job, because some firefighters
Yes.
are at a desk job.
Yeah.
We learned that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're on your feet and you have to lift heavy things, you have higher energy demands, and you should be able to maintain your strength. And so technically, you should be eating more than individuals who are sitting behind a desk. Maintaining your muscle mass is important too. Everyone should maintain their muscle mass, but especially if you're saving our lives,
Yes.
we want to make sure you have some muscle.
So
Strong
you've got to
and
carry
sturdy.
us like dead weight. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Strong.
eating enough protein, weight training, doing cardio, those are going to be very important, of course. But not that someone that works at a desk job shouldn't be doing those things too.
Right.
But even more so, if you're saving our lives, you need to be doing so.
Yeah, breaking down doors. If a beam falls on you, you want good bone density.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are dancers, and y'all, have experience with dancers. So,
Yeah.
do y'all see big differences with dancers and how?
I feel like dancers under fuel, like chronically,
Yes.
chronically under
Yes.
fuel.
Almost everyone in my study was under eating, and I was like, you have to eat or you're not going to be in my study. Like,
Yeah.
I need you to eat, please. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier with athletes. They're so busy that they don't have time to eat. Like, you have class and then you have rehearsal, and you don't want too much on your stomach because you're jumping around, and you'll feel sick. But then there is that stigma of trying to be lean and skinny.
Yeah.
That really, I feel, eating disorders is very common among dancers and similar type, like figure skating, gymnasts and stuff like that. It's very, very common. A lot of women have a lot of dancers, women dancers, have a lot of menstrual irregularities because they're underfueled. They're not eating enough. It was very common for irregular periods and things like that. And so, yeah.
I know I recently had a dancer. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. We can cut it out if so. I was in your study, and I thought I was hitting it to a T, but my energy demands are like, I think they're high for myself, and I was eating and eating and eating, and I still wasn't hitting the numbers.
It's like, you gotta eat more.
And I was like, I remember texting you. I was like, what else can I eat that's this? It was a struggle. I've had a dancer recently who her mom was like, oh, we really need to like get her some more muscle because she needs higher jumps, right? And like the best way to get a higher jump is, get a little bit more muscle on your frame if you're already flexible. And I was like, okay, well, what's she eating? And I can't tell them what to eat, but I can be like, okay, well, you need to eat more, or you need to, here's the recommendations. And she was in the bottom 10% of like underweight, whatever that is. I remember looking at it. She's so skinny.
She's very tiny.
Yeah. And then when I told her mom, I was like, hey, she needs to eat like way more, just so much more. Her mom was like, no, she has the perfect dancer body. She can't have any more food.
See, and that's what messes up. And they hear that.
Yeah,
and
constantly.
then they feel like, well, I can't change then.
Yeah.
And like, I was just talking about this past week. I'm so mad at Balanchine. Balanchine is the reason why we have so many undernourished dancers today.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that was popularized the skinny dancer that was super, super bony. Before Balanchine, dancers were healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were at a healthy
Strong,
weight.
could leap and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we still have dancers that can leap, but like, imagine what they could do.
Right.
I hope, and the same with like the other sports that, you know, now that we understand more about the importance of muscle mass, the importance of nutrition, I hope that all these different sports that are, you know, really wanting people to be super skinny will push more towards a healthier body.
Yeah. I know.
It's
It's
really
sad.
unfortunate too when they're really young.
Yeah, because it
'Cause-
stunts their growth.
Yeah.
So
I know with the Olympics recently, the ice skaters are usually also chronically underfueled and underfed. And we just had, what was it, Alyssa Liu kind of setting a new standard. I don't know if y'all have looked at that, because she was like, one of the things that she told her coaches, she's like, no one's going to starve me. I'm going to eat what I want. And I'm like, yes, change it. So,
Good.
yeah,